Very good afternoon and welcome to Racing International. We head down to the Northern Cape today where we have 9 races on the card. Kimberley's where we're going. Let's go and have a look at the track. Well, up the straight, I don't think it matters. You can win right across the track there. Not too bad. Once you go around the top turn, obviously over that 12, 14, even the 16 certainly helps to have those inside draws. Fair track. Decent running when you turn for home, and if you're good enough, you can win it. But some of the horses, when they first relocate down there, they don't enjoy the kickback. Let's have a look at race 1 on the card. It's a Maiden Plate. It's over the straight, 1,000 metres. Now, there's 2 well-fancied horses in this race. Let's pop them both up there. And certainly number 1, Murray and Flying Fool. Let's start with Flying Fool. It's had the 2 runs under the belt, improving all the time, coming along the right way. Last time out wasn't a bad gallop and was well supported in the market. And the same can be said for Murray. He's had a couple more runs under the belt. Now, this is a 3-year-old taking on a 2-year-old here. Murray being the 3-year-old, and I'm leaning towards that one. They bring it back to the 1,000 metres. Last time they traded over the 14. Didn't quite enjoy that, and I think back to this trip will be better suited here. Trifecta time, and certainly number 3 with from the Borman stable with Muzieni aboard. Ran in behind Duke Flies, who won last time, was only beaten 2.5 lengths, and certainly brings it in with a bit of a squeak. Number 2, Titsikama Fire. Young Callan Murray. Geez, the best apprentice going around. Mind you, there'll be a few saying that Lyle Ewardson's hot on his heels. This one's had a few runs under its belt, 15 in total. Been battling to come out the Maidens. Its last 3 gallops since relocating to the Northern Cape have been slightly better. Race 2 on the card is a Maiden Plate for the fillies and the mares. Another one up the straight of 1,000 metres. And number 3, Heaven on Earth. That's where we're going here with JP van der Merwe having its 3rd run back for rest. And certainly an eye-catching run last time when showing nice improvement. We're not fancied at 10 to 1. Actually stayed on nicely to be only beaten just under half a length. I think you can go one better today. Are there dangers in the race? Well, you betcha there are. Number 1, Spirit of Love. That's drawn out on the outside in barrier 12, also firm in the market. Now, this could definitely win this race, but it's never been on the sand before, so siding a little bit cautious here, tries it for the first time. Got some reasonable Johannesburg form, only finishing 3 and 4 and 5 lengths behind them, so could be competitive there. Number 4, Silky Announce. Muzieni also found market support now into 33 to 10 open race. Muzi's been aborted in his last 2 outings, and they backed it last time from 11 to 2 into 28 to 10. That was over the course and distance and only finished 3 1/4 behind. Right, we've got to find one more now. This could be the big improver in the race. Number 11, Beach Bird, having its 2nd career start. Wasn't fancied on debut, only beaten 4 3/4, and there's already been 2 winners out of that lineup. So keep an eye on this, currently priced up at 5 to 1. Race 3 on the card is a Maiden Plate, and we're travelling over the 1,800 metres. Number 8, Ginger Sue, and I thought a pretty competitive race here. I've tipped this numerous occasions, always there and thereabout, having its 32nd start in the Maidens. Can you believe I'm tipping it? But you know what, I'm going to go with it today, and I think it might have a decent chance. Hopefully it gets out to 4 to 1 and represents a bit of each way value. A few people are talking about number 1, a Bank Manager, Muzieni at 7 to 2. Been good support for it in its last 2 outings, and last time out over the 1,600, it was drawn very wide, 13 out of 13. So I think you can put a line through that. Gets a better draw today in barrier 7. Number 7, For Love or Money. 7 comes off a break of 77 days. Gets a claim of young Neathling off the back. Now brings it in with a nice galloping weight here of only 54 kilos and is certainly drawn well in barrier 1. Firm in the market at 28 to 10. Number 9, I think Cartouche is worth popping in there with Appy aboard it, priced up at 9 to 2. Now, it is drawn out a bit wide. Now, remember over the 1,800, they jump halfway around the turn, so you might have to drop it out from there and have to run on late. Race 4 on the card, we're going over the 1,800 metres. It's a Pinnacle Stakes, not a bad race. It's very competitive indeed. And number 4, Jaguar, well, he's a horse that I've certainly enjoyed. Runs well over the course and distance. Now, last time out, he was drawn 12 out of 12 over the 16. And that was a pretty good effort when only finishing just over a length behind them. I think from a decent draw today in barrier 1, should go pretty close. Now, currently at the moment, priced up at 7 to 2. Hopefully we get a bit of 4 to 1 there. Don't leave out the 2 from the Teeny Prince. Peninsula stable, very firm in the market. There's actually a few horses there backing here, currently priced up at 5-2. Now, last time out, they brought it up to Johannesburg and tried it over 2-4. That didn't work out for them. Its previous 2 runs down, and Kimberley has duly obliged. Number 1, Quid Rides well. He won well last time, beating King of the Mountain. That was certainly a good effort. And King of the Mountain runs later on today, and he certainly won with tipping as well. Currently priced up at 5-2 with top apprentice aboard, Callan Murray. As I said, a very, very competitive race. Number 3, Pontadera. Henny Crailing jumps aboard. This is priced up at 6-1. Now, he only finished just a length behind Quid Rides last time out. So there they go, running at the same weights again. Should be in the mix. Now, these horses, I tell you, they could run them 10 times, 10 weeks in a row. You get a different result. But anyway, we're leaning towards number 4, Jaguar. Race 5 on the card is a merit-rated 72 handicap. All right, this one's over the 1,600 metres, and number 1, King of the Mountain. I like him today. We're going to make him one of our better bets at 7-2. He's drawn nicely in barrier 7. What about number 4, El Catis? Now, this is finding market support at the moment. Keep an eye on this. Currently priced up at 20-2. Marco van Rensburg, he's been aboard in its last 5 or 6 outings. Won 2 of those. Never finishes too far behind, and certainly in very good form at the moment. Now, here's one I've popped in here at 7-1. Number 7, Misty Power. It's going to be 3 kilos better off to King of the Mountain 3 starts ago. It was only beaten 4 1/4 when running into third, so should be able to turn it around a bit there, and has certainly got a very good record over the course and distance. Number 6, First Sea Lord, Randall Simons, 7-2, drawn in barrier 1. Here's the comment from the stable: is very well at the moment, working nicely. Won a lower rated race last time by about just under half a length, but that was over the 1,200. Now steps up to the mile. Race 6 on the card is for the fillies and mares, and they're going over the 1,600 metres. Fillies and mares, 68 handicap. Nice race, this one. Very competitive, and you're going to get a decent price if you can find the right one. We're leaning towards number 1, Heart Flower, drawn in barrier 2. Decent price at 7-2. Now, have a look at that last run over the 1,400 metres. Was drawn out wide, 12 out of 12, and ran a cracking race, running second, only beaten 2.5 lengths. Now, from that inside draw in barrier 2, should go pretty close here. Finale's Girl, 33-10 with Muzieni aboard from the Smith stable. Last time out, Heart of the Flower, they bumped heads there, and Heart of the Flower finished about 5 lengths in front. So you wouldn't think it'd be able to turn around, but it's amazing. These horses, week after week, chop and change. The same horses run against each other. Number 5, Lingerie, also had to come from a tricky draw in its last 2 outings. 11 out of 12 in the previous start, 13 out of 13. It hasn't been finishing too far behind. Gets a nice draw today with Callan Murray aboard, 7-2, drawn in barrier 4. May of the Bee, I battled a bit to find another one, but this one has to put up an extra 1 kilo over with Craig Zaki. Now carries 53 kilos. Now, I'm just recommending to ignore its last run. It missed the start by many, many lengths, had no chance in the race, so put a line through that. From draw 1, could see it fight out a place in the trifectas. Race 7 on the card is a merit-rated 66 handicap. 1,400 metres the distance we're travelling here, and I'm going with a horse that's drawn nicely here in barrier 3. I'm talking about number 1, A Trade Emblem. He's certainly in good form, was impressive last time in a merit-rated 72, so drops down in class here and gets the apprentice aboard, claims that valuable 4 kilos off the back, now brings it in with 57.5. All right, I thought number 7 also have a little bit of a squeak here at 9-2. Caladar, this one's from the Smith stable. Randall Simons jumps aboard. Now, we'll have to overcome a bit of a tricky draw in barrier 11. Been holding form nicely. Go through that form. It's always there and thereabouts, and I think we'll be in the trifectas. Tani, we've tripped this one to you a few times over the last few weeks, and it's been a little disappointing. Never really gets into the race. It's always there and thereabouts, but doesn't quite quicken. But looking at this field, could be a trifecta horse. Craig Saki jumps aboard number 4 here. This is for the human stable. Now, it's never too far away, a very honest horse. Won a nice race 4 starts ago and really hasn't done too much wrong, always finishing only a couple of lengths behind. Here we go, race 8 on the card. It's up the straight of 1,000 metres. Fillies and Mares, 74 handicap. Number 4 here we are. That's the one we're leaning toward. A nice price here as well. Drawn out on the outside in barrier 9. 9 to 2 is your price. A nice each way bet here. Have a look at that run 2 starts ago and only finishing 3.5 behind. There's already been 2 winners out of that form line. I think we'll go pretty close here. But it is competitive. And number 1, Caribbean Bay, you've got to respect it. Course and distance suited. Gets a claim of the apprentice of 4 off the back. Now brings it in with only 57, drawn towards the outside in barrier 11. There's a bit of a roughie here, this one. I've thrown it in, currently priced up at 6 to 1. All right, number 9, let's have a look at this one. This is Raspberry Lips, jumping up in class here. Now, it's a 2-year-old taking on the older horses, but we saw last week they certainly can arrive down there. His last 2 runs have been in open company. Over 1,200 was only beaten a length and a half, and last time out they brought it back to 1,000 in a merit-rated 66. So taking on a little bit stronger here, but certainly good gallop there when only finishing 1 length behind. Right, the lucky last race 9 on the card. It's a merit-rated 72 handicap. 1,200 metres our trip here, and number 4, Easy to Please. There's a bit of money around for this, but it has to come from a wide draw. That's the only thing against it. Got the form to definitely win it. It's going to be 3.5 kilos better off today to Cape Siskin, who only beat it 3/4 a length last time. But can it overcome that wide draw? That's the big question. Number 2, Lady Casey. Well, if it can't overcome the wide draw, I tell you what, this won't be far away. It's drawn on the paint in barrier 1 and certainly coming back to its winning trip. Now, it's picked up 5.5 kilos for its last win. It got heavily punished there, but I certainly think it should fight out the finish. Well, Cape Siskin hasn't done too much wrong. It's won its last 2 in a row. Another one drawn out a wee bit wide in barrier 8 and found betting support at the moment quite firm at 9 to 2. Number 3, Secret Delight, Craig Zaki at 8 to 1. Now, this is going to be 2.5 kilos better off to Cape Siskin, where they met last time and it was only beaten 2.5 lengths. Should bring them a lot closer and also cracks a decent draw today in barrier 2. Well, as we know, it's always very, very competitive down there in the Northern Cape at Kimberley on the Sand. Play as wide as you can. A couple of those races are pretty tricky indeed. We're going to be putting up all our selections at our Twitter account at Racing in Tips. From myself, Rod McCurdy, and all the team here, we wish you a very successful punting afternoon.